guys, so yes, I am wearing all of my bookish jewelry today because I just kind of felt like a little booky. What I decided to do, because it is the 29th of April, I decided to do my reading wrap up for the month of April and try and do my TBR as well. So I read a total of, I think I read a total of 9 books, and I don't have most of them with me because I took most of my books home because it's nearing the end of the semester and I have finals next week. So I decided the last time that I was home to bring home most of my bookshelf. So now I only have some of the books that I need to read, and basically I'm just gonna go on and basically tell you what I read and what I rated it and why I loved it, I guess. So this is my first wrap up I think ever. So the first one that I read in the month of April, because I finished in April, was Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Dark Artifices series, and I loved it so much. I'm not going to go into detail why I loved it so much because I do have a review on it, so if you want to go check that out, I'll link it down below. The second book I also have a review for, and that is Unraveled by Jennifer Albin, and so I will link that down below as well, so you guys can watch it and get caught up if you want to. The next book I don't have with me, the next few books actually I don't have with me. The first one I reread Maximum Ride, The Angel Experiment, because I'm in like the mood to be reading Maximum Ride and, you know, nostalgia. So basically I gave this one, as always, 5 out of 5 stars. So I love this book series so much, if you can't tell. I'm going to talk about it in like almost every video. It's insane. And you will see later on why James Patterson is sort of my favorite author. But so basically follows bird kids who were experimented on and basically test tube babies. And they are running away from this evil organization called the School. And that's all you really need to know because I will be explaining it a lot on this channel if I haven't already. But yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars like always, and I think it was like, it's always been one of my favorite books. I recently just wrote about it in a paper for my young adult literature class, which I was so happy to take because a lot of the books I knew of, and I was very, very happy to read them. Me Before You by Jojo Moyes or Jojo Moyes. And this one follows a girl who was in desperate need of a job, and she basically applies for this job to be a healthcare assistant or whatever at this guy's home, who basically is in a wheelchair and he can't really feel anything from the waist up or from like the chest up because he was in an accident. And I think I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars as well. And oh my god, guys, it was the cutest book I ever read, but it was also the saddest book besides The Fault in Our Stars. And I totally recommend you read it because it was just so good. And plus, it's becoming a movie, and it'll be coming out in June, I believe. And I can't wait because it's got Sam Claflin in it from Hunger Games, and oh my gosh, I love him. The next book I don't have with me as well, but I had to read it for my young adult literature class. But it was meaning to be read because it was on my shelf for a long time. And that is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. And this was like the cutest love story I ever read besides Me Before You. And basically it follows 2 people. Eleanor, who is basically the outcast who nobody likes. And then we have Park, who's he's sort of popular, but he's not. And that was the part where my memory card decided to say it was full. Where was I? I was at Eleanor Park, right? And so basically I had to read this for my young adult literature class. And I love that class so much because literally I read a lot of stuff from there, like Looking for Alaska and Divergent. And that was fun. It was. And I recently just wrote, I think I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. A lot of these I gave a 5 out of 5 stars because I just haven't been in a huge reading mood lately because I've had to study and I have to write papers and I have to do all this stuff. So yes, next one I actually have here with me because I brought it back when I finished it at home, and Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And so basically I was not in the mood to read this book. It was weird. I just wasn't a fan, and I know people are gonna come after me with pitchforks and fire, but I just wasn't in the mood for this type of book because I think it went a little bit over my head. I don't know, it just kind of went over my head. So basically it's about this guy, Darrow, who basically is a red, and so they're in a society where reds are the lowest class and then the golds are the highest class. And so basically Darrow, after his wife dies, he has to become a gold so he can try to like avenge her or something. And I kind of say this like is like adult meets like Hunger Games-ish. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars, but I'm going to reread this book when I feel like I'm in the mood to pick it up back again. Like you can see how much like wear and tear this book has gotten because it was like in my backpack sadly, and it was like help me, I'm dying, and then I was like sorry. I don't really enjoy it as much as I would, but the next one that I read was the contemplation of short stories / novellas from Marissa Meyer called Stars Above. And basically just, as I said, it gives it was novellas that have been compiled together to basically wrap up the whole Lunar Chronicle series as a whole, and I loved this. I read it within a day because I was really excited and I needed to get myself out of my funk. So I decided to bring Stars Above with me home over the weekend so I can read it and actually enjoy it. I think my favorite out of all of them would either be Princess on the Guard, which follows Winter and Jason, or The Little Android, because we all know, well maybe you don't know, that my favorite Disney movie is The Little Mermaid, and I love it so. And The Little Android is pretty much based off of The Little Mermaid, despite the fact that the mermaid is actually an android and she falls in love with a human who she doesn't know she loves him because androids don't really have feelings, but he's in love with somebody else and it's just like their journey or whatever. And then I liked The Mechanic, which I think was in Kai's point of view when he and Cinder first met, and that was cute too. And then something old, something new made me very happy because it was really cute. It was, I don't know if I want to spoil, but I think I might. It's basically about Scarlet and Wolf's wedding, and it was adorable, and I just cried because, you know, life. And then the last book that I had read in the month of April was the 4th book in the Lux series. It was Origin, and I have, I think, one more book to go in this series, and there's Damon's point of view of the first book. It follows the events of the last book, which basically was really heart-wrenching. And the last book was really like surprising, and like I called some things. I called one of the events in the last part of the book, and I was like, I bet that's gonna happen. And as soon as I read the next page, it did. So it was really good. I mean, like, and it sort of got me out of my funk too. I really just needed to get out of my reading funk, or else I would have like not been able to read this video at all. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars as well, because this is a really good series, guys. It's about aliens and the government, and let me just say that I didn't know that Mount Weather was like a place, because I knew it was brought up in the 100, and now it's brought up in the Lux series. I don't know what to do because I think I looked it up and it's like a government-based thing, but I don't know. So on to the books that I hope to read in the month of May. Now I might not get much done because in the first week of May, because finals are a thing, so I will just share what I might be reading in the month of May when I go home. So that I want to read is Cruel Crown by Victoria Aveyard, and then I want to read Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard because I haven't read them yet. And I really do need to. I just haven't been very good with reading things lately. And yes. And then I'm currently reading Just One Day by Gail Forman, and I like that one so far. And yes. So that's a current read. And then the next like 3 books are probably why you're going to see my James Patterson addiction. But anyway, I want to also read Witch and Wizard by James Patterson. This is actually going to be a reread for me. I read this back in like freshman year of high school. Either freshman year of high school or 8th grade. And I forget what happens, and there are still more books coming out in this series. I think there's 4 of them right now. I don't know if he's planning on writing another one or not, because I thought it ended with the kiss, and then I read that, and then I was like, okay, this is a trilogy, and then it's not a trilogy. And so I want to also read the other 3, which are Witch and Wizard, and then there's Witch and Wizard the Gift, there's Witch and Wizard the Kiss, and then there's Witch and Wizard the Lost. And if I'm wrong, you will see down below. But basically it's about these twins, Wit and Wisty, and they're basically a witch and a wizard. And I sort of remember this series, but I sort of don't. It was sort of in the time where I was really getting into James Patterson, and I started off with Witch and Wizard, or I started off with Maximum Ride, and then I went to Witch and Wizard. Took a break of James Patterson, and then started reading other dystopians and other books like that. And that's when I sort of got into booktube too with Pierre Ford, who did the reenactments from Maximum Ride. But anyway, I'm excited to read this one again because I need Wisty and Wit in my life. So yeah, this series I actually haven't read yet. And so I found this at the library down the street from my dorm, and they were having this library sale where you can buy books, and they were like really cheap. So I bought a few. And this one I decided to get, I don't remember, The Dangerous Days of Daniel X by James Patterson. And basically this is just a Daniel X novel-ish thing. And you can see I still have the bookmark thing from the book sale. I'm excited to start this, even though I'm like getting on the train of the YA James Patterson, but I also want to get onto the adult side of James Patterson. And so basically this follows this kid, Daniel X, who pretty much, I think, he's like an alien hunter, again with the aliens. And pretty much he wants to, I guess, eliminate all of the aliens that are on his planet. And he has a superpower, apparently. He can create things. So, yes, and this is actually in pretty good condition, by the way. So I'm going to try to read in the month of May is another James Patterson book, because there's a lot of James Patterson I haven't read. And that is The Confessions, The Murder of an Angel by James Patterson. And this is the 4th book in what I thought was a trilogy. And then I saw this at Barnes & Noble, and I saw it and I was like, this is my child. Now the back says, how many times can you cheat death before it finally hunts you down? Released from the institution where she fled to escape the horror of her past, Tandy Angel emerges with a cold sense of purpose and merciless plan. Destroy my parents' poisonous legacy, take revenge on those who tried to ruin me. Find the killer who is stalking my every move. But with her family believing that her senseless ambitions are the sequences of a broken mind, Tandy is on her own to make sure that each of her targets is eliminated, one by one. I don't want it to end, and it seems really good. And I followed this from when Confessions of a Murder Suspect first came out, and this is the 6th book that I want to read this month. And you know, I think I might get it done, and I might read more of these books. I might read more of the ones that I have on my shelf that I haven't read yet. And yeah, this is my TBR for May and my book for April. I can't think. That is it for today, and I will come back with another video, I promise. See you soon, my little bird kid friends. I'm gonna call you that now. Or my little bird children. I'm gonna call you my bird children. There we go. So I'll see you later, bird children, and I hope we can meet again soon. And bye!